Welcome to the implementation webinar. My name is Maya and I'm going to be leading this webinar session. I hope everyone can hear and see my screen all right. If you cannot, feel free to send a message in the chat and I'll happily adjust any settings, but you should be able to see my screen here. Alrighty, just to get started here, today's agenda, what to expect. We're going to be doing an overview of the Canvas integration process. This webinar is specifically aimed at Canvas users, so if you do not use Canvas, this might not apply to you as much. We'll be doing a upload demonstration, so I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you how to add Labster simulations to your Canvas courses. We'll also do a support overview, so just a quick support overview of our live chat support, Labster best practices, an overview of that as well, and then any Q&A, any questions you have, feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll get to them right after the presentation's over. Alrighty, so just a little overview of what the implementation process looks like from start to finish. First part is obviously once your order form is received, we will go ahead and assign you to an implementation manager, and that's when you'll meet your implementation manager. Next, you will be working with your IT contact to make sure that the Canvas integration is all set up. The third step is to download the chosen simulations that you'd like, and that's the demonstration I'll be doing today. And the fourth step is to upload them back into Canvas. Once this process is all set and your implementation manager has walked you through everything, you'll go ahead and meet your customer success manager, and they will be the main point of contact throughout the school year. So just a little visual on our team and who we are. This is the implementation team. You'll be working with one of us to do this process. You might recognize some of us already, but just a quick visual here. The second step is the Canvas integration. Like I said before, we will be working with your IT contact to make sure that your system is connected to our system and that they both communicate. We'll test that out with your IT contact and make sure everything is all set in your Labster process. This little visual here. And then the third step is to download the simulations from our faculty resource page, and that's what I'll be doing shortly after the slide. You'll download the simulations from our faculty resource page using the Add Simulations to your LMS button. It's that big green button on the bottom of the screen. And then you'll go ahead and upload them back into Canvas into your course shells. And this is the part where you upload them back into your course shells. The Canvas interface is very easy. It makes it super, super simple. Once you do have the file from our faculty resources website, you'll press Import Course Content within the Settings button in your Canvas course, and that will allow you to import those simulations directly into Canvas. So everything will work pretty seamlessly. And the last step here is, again, meeting your customer success manager, and they will be walking you through and being your main point of contact throughout the school year. So once you're all set with implementation, you will be introduced to a customer success manager. So now's the time for a quick demonstration. I'll be doing this on my computer. Feel free to pop questions in the chat as I go on. But the first step, like I said, is to navigate to our faculty resource page. This link has a lot of information for instructors. This link will be shared with your by your implementation specialist once you've started the process. So you will get this link from one of us. This link has a ton of information. The simulations tab specifically has all the information you need for each simulation. You'll be able to find screencasts, lab manuals, lab report templates, etc. from the simulations tab. But for this webinar, we'll just be focusing on how to upload the simulations into Canvas, and that is where you need to press Upload to LMS, so that button on the right here. You'll scroll down and you'll find this big green button that says Add Simulations to your LMS, and then shortly after you click that, a little pop-up will appear on the screen, just like this. You can see that you can filter out by subject, so if you're teaching a specific subject, feel free to filter out to that subject, and the simulation list will be cut a little bit, so high school bio. And once you're ready to go, once you're ready to add simulations, you'll go ahead and press the plus button near the simulation that you'd like to add. So just pressing that, and it'll pop over to the right. So you'll see that all the simulations will pop over to the right. And once you have a list of the simulations you'd like to add, you'll go ahead and press the download button. You'll want to select Canvas in this case, and then you'll press download again. So what this does is it downloads a common cartridge into your computer. This is just a zip file with all our simulations, or the simulations you just chose, in a zip file format. You don't actually have to edit the format. You don't have to unzip it or edit the file name. Nothing needs to be changed here. You'll be uploading that directly into Canvas, and I'll show you how to do that on my end as well. So I'll just exit out of this page and go into my Canvas test course. This will hopefully look exactly like your Canvas page, except there won't be any student data on my end. And the steps are pretty simple for Canvas. You'll just go to the little navigation bar on the left and click on the settings button. Once you're in your settings, you'll go ahead and see this button here that says import course content. So that's what I went over before. So you'll go ahead and press on import course content. And then you'll be able to select a content type. So this is just so the system knows what file you're actually downloading into it. And we're going to be selecting the Common Cartridge 1.x package. So Common Cartridge 1.x. It'll tell you to choose the source. So this is where you'll choose that file. And once again, it will be found directly in your downloads. It'll be a zip file, and it'll always be titled CC underscore with a bunch of letters and numbers. And you'll want to open that file. And then just want to make sure that you hit all content so that the system knows to grab all the simulations that you downloaded. So pretty simple. And then you'll just go ahead and press import. This does take a bit to queue up, so in my experience, it's taken less than a minute. And once it's completed, it'll change to completed here. And the simulations will automatically be found in assignments once that process is complete. So you'll see that in assignments, if you go into assignments, you'll see all the simulations that we just chose. Alrighty, so as you can see here, the simulations that I chose were added to assignments. It'll automatically fall into a folder called simulations, but feel free to adjust it as you need. You can feel free to drag it and drop it to assignments. If you have modules under home, you can also move it. It's just like any other Canvas assignment, except it has a link to our simulation. And you can edit the assignment as you'd like as well. So if you'd like to edit the due date, just adding a due date, feel free to do that. And as well as point values. I would just recommend with point values to make sure that you are adjusting that before the students play the simulations so that the grades do transfer in properly. So if you wanted it to be weighted at 10 points, feel free to do that and only publish it when the point value is adjusted. And the last step here is to publish when you're ready to go. Students will actually press on the simulation when they see the assignment. There will be a little outline here of what the assignment entails. And if they scroll all the way down to the page, there's going to be a button that says load simulation in a new window. And once they open that, they'll be redirected to our simulation. So it is pretty simple and pretty easy with Canvas. You're just downloading that common cartridge file, uploading it back into Canvas, and then when you're ready to do so, just publishing the assignment. In terms of grades, there's two ways to access grades. The first one is through the automatic transfer of grades once the simulation has been completed by the student. So the student does need to complete the simulation to the 100% progress point in order for that grade to bounce back into your Canvas gradebook. So the first method, there's nothing needed on your end besides having the student complete the simulation. The second way to access grades is through the Labster dashboard, and that is our end of the gradebook. You can add the Labster dashboard to your modules list at any time. You can do that by pressing on the settings button once again. And then you'll see the Labster dashboard here, not in the visible list. And all you need to do is drag it up to your little modules list and press save. And once that's saved, you'll see this link here, and that'll link you to our end of the dashboard, which just has a little bit more information and detail for you as an instructor. So I have a dashboard open up here. This is just me and my colleagues playing, so there is no real student data here. And you can see a little bit more detail, like I said, on our dashboard. So looking at my grade specifically, you can see each attempt that the student has tried. The progress percentage will be listed on the top, so that's how far they got into the simulation. The second line will read the points they've earned, so I earned an 80% on the simulation. And then you'll see the date and timestamp in which they finished the simulation. And if you click on the attempt itself, you will read what the attempt details is, and that is exactly what the student has answered for each question. So here is a question that was presented to me. I initially answered with the choice 5A, and I got that wrong, so I failed that question. I was presented the same question again, and I chose 2A, and that was the correct answer, except I was docked by 2 points. So you can see I earned 8 points on that question. And you can see this for every single question that that was presented to every student through the Labster dashboard. So this just gives you a little bit more of an idea of where the students struggled or where they excelled. So like I said, there is those 2 methods to viewing grades. The first one is through the automatic transfer, and that's just going to fall directly into your gradebook within Canvas. It'll populate here once the students complete the simulation. And the other method is through the Labster dashboard. So that's about it for my demonstration. I'll go back to my presentation here. Just some best practices to go over with you guys. We do have some do's and don'ts. We do recommend using a laptop or desktop. We are not currently supported on tablets or other devices. We do recommend Firefox or Chrome as the 2 preferred browsers. We don't recommend using Safari or Edge. When the students do play the simulations, we recommend closing other websites or software. Not having anything else running in the background just tends to make the loading of the simulation go way smoother, way faster. And then the 4th tip is when you are loading up the simulation, to make sure to stay on the page and wait until it loads to 100% without clicking out of the page. If you do click away from the page, the loading will actually pause. So making sure that you stay on the page until it loads to 100%. Alrighty. And just some support and resources. We do have an amazing help center and an amazing support team. Everything is available through the help.labster.com site for any support articles, regardless of what your access method is or if you're a student or a teacher. And we do have an amazing support team as well available through our little blue button here. This little blue button is our intercom button. If you click on it and answer a couple questions, you will be connected to a live agent for any assistance, regardless if you're an instructor or a teacher. So if students do have any technical questions or questions on the product itself, feel free to direct them to our support team and they can definitely help them. Our support team is available between 8 a.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern on weekdays, so the students will have a decent time window to contact our support team. And I can actually go to the site here to show you what it looks like. So this is our help center. There's tons of articles and resources you can take a look at. And then our support button is found on the bottom right-hand corner of the page. It'll read, we're open from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, and students can send us a message, or instructors can send us a message if they need any assistance. Our wait time is currently under 5 minutes. Alrighty. So that's about it for the Canvas integration and the Canvas setup. I'm happy to take any questions. I know that was only 15 minutes, but feel free to pop them into the chat and I will monitor them if needed. I just actually added a message to the chat so you know where to ask questions if you have any. Okay, I don't see any questions. Hope that's a good sign. And if you don't have any questions, feel free to hop off this webinar. We will be hosting an identical webinar next week on Monday at the same time, so feel free to come to that webinar if you'd like. I see two people's hands up. Let me go ahead and. All right. I believe I muted whoever had their hand up, or I unmuted them. Can you try speaking now? Or if you can pop the question in the chat and I can answer it as well.
Testing, 1, 2, testing.
Yes,
testing.
I hear you.
Okay, great. I actually posted 2 questions in the chat. I'm not sure if they're showing up in your eyes. I can ask here.
Oh, I see them now. Yeah, I see them. Can the slides be shared with the attendees? Was that your question?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely send the slides out, the deck out as well. Is there something specific that you wanted access to?
No, just the slides, because it'll be would be helpful for me. I'll do a similar workshop with my team. And my second question is, I'm porting over to Canvas. So last year I used it with the edX platform, and in the edX platform, each of the students had to create a login info with Labster on top of having login info with my institution's LMS. So I just want to make sure that with this integration is once you're able to log into Canva, there's nothing required from Labster, like from the student's perspective. So it's much easier.
Yes, it's much easier. That's exactly right. There's no login needed for either teachers or students. Everything is done through the Canvas platform.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. I do see a couple more questions now. They're populating. This presentation is going to be available on our website, so the recording will be available, Sam. Nicole. If you're not using Canvas, I can actually just go ahead and unmute you. Nicole, I did unmute you if you wanted to ask a more specific question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. Good morning. All right. So this was the only available time, so that's why I clicked on this presentation. But my main query, I guess, is, so we used it in spring. Wonderful. Now we want to transition into summer sessions. Do I send in my faculty listing to you guys every semester, or can we just adjust what courses we are doing that semester?
Yeah. Do you know your access method? So what access method are you using right now?
Not understanding that. We're using the Labster Direct, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do you know also who your implementation manager is? I don't recognize your name, so I don't think it's me.
No, it's not you. Hold on.
I can connect you to your implementation manager, and they can send out the new courses.
Okay, so I probably need to connect. I'm going to escape this. Or so you can do somebody else, I guess, while I search for her name.
Yeah, if you also want to email me the information, my email is maya@labster.com. So it's really simple.
M-Y-A or M-I-A?
MAYA@labster.com.
M-A-Y-A. Okay, all right, thank you. So I'll do that shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty. One more question. Where do I access the faculty resource page, Larissa, that will be sent from your implementation specialist? So that link is very unique. We don't share it on a public platform, but that will be shared with your implementation specialist or by your implementation specialist. I hope that answered your question. All right. Don't see any more questions right now. Go ahead and delete these. All right. I know we only have 4 attendees here. If you have any more questions, feel free to submit them. If not, I will go ahead and jump out of this meeting. And like I said, my name is Maya, so any questions you have, feel free to contact me directly. Thank you. Alrighty, everyone, I'm going to jump out of this meeting. Thank you so much for attending. We will have an identical meeting on Monday if you have any follow-up questions. All right, thank you. Have a great day.